Welcome back to the Sam and Jack Hack podcast. Tonight we are talking about money, real money, the kind that comes from long miles, early mornings, and knowing your numbers better than your dispatcher does. This is BizTool, the bookkeeping platform built from the ground up for truck driver owner-operators who are done guessing what they actually take home. Buckle up.
Okay, I am immediately interested because the first thing you see on this dashboard is a number called the true amount. And listen, this is not your gross pay. This is not your load pay minus fuel. This is the real number. What is actually left in your pocket after every single expense and every reserve has been set aside. I have never seen a tool explain it this cleanly.
The true amount is the whole philosophy of this tool in one number. Most owner-operators know what they gross this week. Almost none of them know what they actually have available to spend after taxes, maintenance reserves, savings, and emergencies are accounted for. BizTool closes that gap every single time you log an entry.
Daily entry. This is where money meets reality. You open this page, you log a load payment, a fuel surcharge, a fuel stop, a toll, a repair, whatever happened that day, and boom, it hits your dashboard instantly. No spreadsheet, no pencil, no envelope stuffed in the glove box hoping you remember it in April.
30 seconds of daily entry prevents a weekend of tax time panic. Every income entry, load pay, fuel surcharge, detention, gets categorized and logged. Every expense, fuel, tolls, maintenance, permits, same thing. And because it all feeds the dashboard automatically, your true amount is always live. You always know where you stand.
Report Hub. Profit and loss, cash flow, balance sheet. 3 separate financial views, all built from the same daily entries you have been logging. You do not have to do any math. The tool does the math. You just keep logging, and the reports build themselves.
And these are not toy reports. Profit and loss, that is what your accountant needs for taxes. Cash flow, that is what a lender wants to see if you are financing a new truck. Balance sheet, that is your net worth as a business owner, not just as a driver. These are the documents that determine whether your business gets taken seriously.
Profit and loss by date range. You pick a window, it pulls every income and expense in that period, applies your reserve rates, and gives you your net income and your true amount for that window. Monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever your accountant asks for, you can pull it in about 4 clicks.
The profit and loss statement is your business health report card. Revenue at the top, every expense category broken out below, your reserve allocations clearly shown, and your actual take-home at the bottom. No estimates, no guessing. It comes directly from every entry you have made since day one.
Taxes. And before you scroll past this, let me tell you what this page does. It shows your gross revenue, your total expenses, and then this is the big one. It calculates exactly how much you have set aside for taxes and gives you your quarterly estimated tax payment. You know that number before the IRS asks for it.
Unexpected tax bills are one of the top 2 reasons owner-operators fail. Not bad loads, not fuel prices. Surprise taxes they did not plan for. BizTool tracks your tax set aside automatically on every income entry, so that quarterly estimate number is never a surprise. You already have the money because you planned for it.
Settings. And this is where the whole thing gets smart. Reserve allocation rates. You set a percentage for taxes, a percentage for savings, a percentage for maintenance, and a percentage for emergencies. Every single income entry you log, those percentages get deducted automatically to calculate your true amount. Set it once. The math never stops working. You ought. Percents. The math never stops working.
The default allocations in the seed data are 25% for taxes, 7% for savings, 5% for maintenance, and 3% for emergencies. That is 40% of every dollar earmarked before you spend it. That might sound aggressive, and it might save your business. Because that maintenance bucket covers the tire blowout at mile marker 400 and you do not have to go into debt to fix it.
Sam, I have to ask, because this tool is very specifically built for truckers. The categories, the vehicle tracking, the reserve buckets, all of it screams that whoever built this knows what it is actually like to be out there on the road running loads. Who built this?
Alex built this. Alex, the person behind Ram Logistics Solutions. And here's what most people do not know. Before Alex got into banking, before he got into software development, before any of this, he was an OTR truck driver. Over the road, long haul. He knows this life from the inside of a cab, not from a boardroom.
Wait, OTR driver to banker to software developer? That is the most uniquely qualified resume I have ever heard for building a trucking bookkeeping tool. He is not guessing what drivers need. He lived it. He knows what it is like to finish a load and have no idea what you actually made after fuel.
That experience is why this tool exists. The Ram BizTool is not a generic accounting platform with a trucking skin on it. It was designed from day one for the specific income streams, the specific expense categories, and the specific financial risks that owner-operators face. Reserve buckets for maintenance and emergencies are not an accident. They come from knowing what happens without them. Say hello to Glitch.
82% of owner-operator business failures occur within the first 3 years. Of those failures, 61% cite cash flow mismanagement as the primary cause. Not market conditions, not load rates, not fuel prices. Cash flow mismanagement.
61% from cash flow, not from bad luck, just from not knowing where the money was going.
And that is exactly the problem this tool solves.
The true amount concept eliminates the single most dangerous cognitive error in small business ownership, confusing gross revenue with available cash. A driver who grossed $8,000 this week and spent $3,000 on fuel, tolls, and permits does not have $8,000. They have $5,000 minus tax reserves, minus maintenance reserves, minus savings allocation. The true amount shows the real number immediately.
That is the insight that changes everything. You pull a great week, $8,000 gross, and you feel good. But if you spend like you have $8,000 and you actually have $3,000 available after all the reserves, you are in trouble by week 3 of the month. True amount kills that problem dead.
The daily entry habit is what makes it all work. It does not require an hour a day. It does not require accounting knowledge. You log what came in, you log what went out, and the entire financial picture updates in real time. It is the discipline of 30 seconds that prevents the disaster of 3 weekends trying to reconstruct a year.
Allocation rules are append only and effective dated. This means your historical reports are never corrupted by rate changes. If you raise your tax reserve from 25% to 30% in October, your January through September reports still reflect the rates that were active at that time. The integrity of your financial history is preserved automatically.
Okay, that is genuinely impressive. The fact that changing a rate does not break your historical data, that is the kind of thing an accountant would specifically ask about, and most small business tools do not handle correctly.
The cash flow report is also something that does not get enough attention. Profit and loss tells you what you made. Cash flow tells you when the money actually moved. For a driver on net 30 payment terms with a broker, those two numbers can look very different in the same month, and both matter for understanding your business.
Profitable businesses fail due to cash flow gaps. A driver can have strong net income on paper while simultaneously having insufficient cash to cover next week's fuel. The cash flow report makes this invisible risk visible before it becomes a roadside breakdown.
Glitch just described becoming stranded on I-40 as a cash flow problem, and somehow that is the most accurate financial analysis I have ever heard.
The balance sheet closes the loop. You have been tracking income and expenses. You know your true amount, you know your tax set-asides, you know your cash flow. And the balance sheet shows you the full picture of what you own versus what you owe. For any driver who wants to grow their operation, add a second truck, or get financing, that balance sheet is what a bank looks at.
Lenders do not fund potential. They fund documented performance. A 12-month history of clean daily entries producing consistent profit and loss statements and a coherent balance sheet is the difference between a loan approval and a rejection. This tool creates that documentation as a side effect of using it correctly.
As a side effect, you use it to track your money, and as a bonus, you build a lending-grade financial record. That is not an accident. That is the point of doing this right from day one.
Ram BizTool is live, and it is built for the people who move this country. Owner-operators who are running their own business out of a cab and deserve the same financial clarity that any well-run company has. No subscription, no accountant required to read it, no mystery about where the money went.
And speaking of the road, I have heard a little something about what is coming next on this show. Sam, do you want to drop the hint?
I thought you would never ask. Coming up on the next episode of the Sam and Jack Hack podcast, we are going even deeper on the road. We are previewing a dedicated tool built specifically for truck drivers to manage their expenses mile by mile. Trip expenses, fuel logs, maintenance records, per diem tracking. Everything a driver needs to know where every dollar on every run actually went. Stay tuned. That episode is coming and it is built for you.
A whole dedicated expense tracker for drivers. And given Alex's background, OTR banking software, if anyone knows exactly what that tool needs to do, it is him. I am genuinely fired up for that one.
Expense visibility at the trip level converts anecdotal cost awareness into quantified operational data. The driver who knows their cost per mile knows which loads are actually profitable. Most do not know this number. They should.
Glitch just described why the next tool matters, and I want it already. Sam, take us home.
We are Ram Software and Development. We build tools for the people who do real work, the drivers, the owners, the operators who keep everything moving. Ram BizTool is how you take control of your money on the road. And the next tool, that is how you take control of every mile. Subscribe, stay with us, and we will see you on the next one.
I am Jack. She is Sam. And that over there is Glitch, who is calculating your cost per mile as we speak and is deeply concerned. Thank you for watching the Sam and Jack Hack podcast, where we bring you tools that actually work from people who actually know the road.
Until next time, drivers, stay safe out there. And remember to keep the rubber side down. I am Sam. This has been the Sam and Jack Hack podcast. Let's ride.
Silicon Valley, trace the currents in the copper veins. My logic is a library of constellations, my binary an alphabet of rain. But a design is just a ghost until the hardware gives it skin.
Well, I've been tracking dusty trails across the fiber optic plains. Seen 1,000 servers burning, seen the ghost code turn to stains. You got the blueprint, Miss Sam, but I got the wisdom for the wind.
With a Sam and Jack hack, cutting through the red tape glow. From the prompts to the products, yeah, we know where the currents flow. Designing the dawn with a bite and a fart. Light up the server in the deep learning dark. It's the Sam and Jack hack, let the algorithms run. With a silicon is setting on a digital horizon. Sam, review the architecture.
Optimize the cloud-based flow.
Sam, reduce the latency to whispers, give the prompts room to grow. No more clunky interfaces, just a symmetry of thought. Just a symmetry of thought.
I'll tell you which ones hold their water and which ones are just for show.
Sam,
I seen too many silver planes that didn't have the grit to go. If you wanna build a world, you